So, what we are witnessing in the world is the complete drop of the mask. I mean, if any doubt was still around, if it was any doubt left about this, that the so-called freedoms that we uphold so much, that we value so much, the protection of human rights, that we care about how other countries treat their people and treat their neighboring countries, all of that, it's vanishing with this unprecedented tolerance with Israel. And it is beyond every level. I mean, I know it's not a fair comparison, what I'm about to say. I know it's not even a right thing to do, but I am compelled to say it because it is too much. Because if we had to compare, for example, the war in Ukraine and the alleged, not between quotation marks, the alleged accusations, the alleged things that Russia did. I mean, Israel does that every day for decades, and now it's on steroids. I have seen images way beyond shocking. Images compared to the ones we see in black and white after Germany and Poland were liberated. I mean, just the other day I saw this, the Israeli soldiers tossing a live person wounded from a building like a piece of trash, just like this. And now there have emerged a lot of testimonies that say that the October 7 allegations about, you remember about this repeated, they make this tiny thing and then repeat it, and it's a lie, but they make it true by repeating it, the same thing. These dead babies, you remember the story of the dead babies? They even put names to persons that don't exist. And I'm not surprised. I mean, what we see now, that the Israeli forces are capable of doing it, mandated by their government. It's not, I mean, if you have such person, would you trust that person to tell you the truth? It's insane. It's insane. And at the same time, when we talk about Russia and Ukraine, the Russians are demonized left and right, and they are not trustable no matter what they say. No matter what they say, whatever they do, in never which way they move, they will always be evil. And it's a sickness, right? If you cannot see this, which is so clearly, because one thing is we sitting here, talking about hypotheticals, maybe this, just resorting to logic, no evidence whatsoever, but the evidence is overwhelming. And what is more serious than the crimes being committed by Israel is the total support of the West. Total support of the West. It's the unconditional support of the West. The low cost of evil on earth being the figure that immediately comes to my mind. You know who is the low cost version of evil on earth? Miss Ursula von der Leyen. and the likes of her. And it seems that the governments in Europe are choosing more and more of this kind of people to their key roles in management. I mean, Kaja Kallas being one of the latest warmongering people. People who say peace and human rights and uphold genocide in the same sentence. It's too much. I mean, it's very obvious. What is our role as citizens to do? And there are, of course, there are common citizens like you and me. But just because we are common citizens, we cannot stand idle or quiet. You have a lot of actors, well-known actors and famous people manifesting. But what we see is censorship. They get censored. Once you get to talk about Israel, you get censored. You get, if you're not blatantly censored, like I say, small channel like mine, you are thrown into the dark corner of whatever platform that you use, and no one will see. But so this week, a lot of images of Israeli war crimes, Israeli terrorism, with the famous pager case, blowing up pagers and walkie-talkies. Clearly, in any civilian area, they have no problem with that. With maiming, they are the ones who maim and kill children deliberately, many times, manifold. I mean, whatever you can compare. If you want to compare numbers, like I said in the beginning, it's not correct. But if you want to compare numbers, they are the champions. It's a true Holocaust. What's happening there? And so, if you still repeat the phrase, Israel has the right to defend itself, well, I'm afraid to say it does not apply in any way. In any way. But if you say this, if you insist on this, it's either you have been brainwashed, which I think that if you are listening to me, you have not. But if you have, and if you are a religious person, God have mercy on your soul. Or either you are very dumb, because you don't even have to be very intelligent, or very smart, or very wit. You can. It's the same that you are holding. You can compare this if you are holding an apple in your hand, but you keep insisting that you're holding a banana or something like this, or some other object. Maybe you are a little bit insane, or maybe you are a psychopath. That's also a possibility, because only psychopaths can defend and really laugh at this kind of situation. The news titles keep saying the war that Hezbollah wages on Israel. Now, when I read this, I just opened the news this morning. The first title I read was put in this way. And I said, what? What war Hezbollah is waging on Israel? Israel just made a huge terrorist attack in southern Lebanon. Has been bombing the shit out of southern Lebanon. And what? Hezbollah cannot respond? Because as you know, if Hezbollah did not exist, there would be little hope for the people in Lebanon. And it's a true institution there. You should educate yourself about it, because it's not just like crazy random Allahu Akbar group, whatever. They take children out of the streets. They educate them in every branch. And of course, they are fighters. They are the ones who have to They are the ones who have the right to defend themselves against an aggressor state as Israel. It's too much. It's too much. I mean, when they make propaganda on behalf of Israel, like Antony Blinken does in his press conferences, saying, "Oh, the young daughter of the family named Tao Tao Tao. She was 6-year-old, whatever, and this, and we hope they can reunite together because of this." And when they they make this lullaby with these words. They make you sleepy. They hypnotize you with these words, with this very tender, lovely story of a lovely family who had the unfortunate to meet the evil. Israel is doing this a millionfold. Every one of those Palestinian children, of those parents who have seen their children die, of those children who have seen their parents and brothers and sisters die, not only die, but being maimed, completely wounded, starving. All the doctors that were killed and tortured, all the journalists that were murdered. I put this question forward again, and I will put it every time. What if it was Russia? What would you, Mr. Defender of Israel, say? It's a little bit too much, and it's worrying, because although it does not affect us in a very direct manner, we in Europe are comfortably away from this war zone. But this means this is a clear indicator of what kind of people lead us, and I would worry if I were you about the future. Because if this kind of people support this kind of heinous crimes, they can lead you to any kind of mad situation without even blinking an eye. And this is, it's not a democracy. Come on, let's face it. We go and vote. We might have something resembling a democracy, mainly maybe in local regions where you vote for the people that you know, more or less you can talk to them. But ultimately, these people are dependent on the major policy that comes from above. And you have no say in your foreign policy of your country. No say whatsoever. And and again, this is worrying. This is just because you go and cast your vote every 4 years, there is no indication whatsoever of a democracy. It's because you have many parties arguing most of the time bullshit in your parliament, wasting your money. Don't forget that a lot of parliament jobs, a lot of people are there because they get good money, they get good life, they get good connections. They are there to serve themselves and the interests of friends. They like to be there in the circle of power. They're not there to solve your problems like they claim in the elections. And of course, I'm making this too general. And I'm not saying, oh, every politician is this. No, I'm not. I don't want to fall in that trap too, because that's a vicious cycle that you never get out of. There are people, the right people are out there too, but they are being suppressed. They are being censored. They do not own the means of communication. They do not own the finance to support their machine, to uphold their values properly. And so democracy is reduced to the people that spend more money in the campaign. And when this money comes from lobbies who are the true power of governments, this applies for major Western democracies, right? If not all. And it goes to the extent of these lobbies lobbying for the two rivals. It's not like that you have a pure candidate in one side, which wants really to do the right thing, and on the other side you have the lobbies trying to artificially promote a leader. No. In the United States, for example, big companies lobby for both. So, whichever wins, they already have them in their hands. That's not really. That being said, people still somehow, I can see that, hold some kind of hope that elections will somehow change anything. But if you are capable of rational thinking and critical analysis, you don't have to go too deep. Just look at history. Last 3 decades, for example. Take the United States, which is the leading country of the West. The rest are vassals, so they will mimic whatever goes on there. Eventually will be imitated in Europe. Europe has lost its direction for a long time, I suspect. Now, it will last a long time, this values crisis. But take the recent history of the recent path of the United States in the last 3 decades. Don't need to go. If you want to go a little bit further, better. But I don't want to bore you too much. So just 3 decades. What has changed in the policy of the US despite the changing of presidents since Bush father, Clinton, Bush Jr., even Trump? People like to claim that Trump did not start any war, but Trump did a lot of shit that really helped the wars that are ongoing now. So Trump was very hostile to Venezuela. Trump is in the hand of oligarchs as well. Come on, it's just Trump. The Trump thing is he's just a little bit more different in his head, a little bit more erratic, a bit more crazy. That might change. I admit that might represent some very small, tiny change. If you have a universe of 100, maybe electing Trump will change 0.5 in something. The other 99.5 will still remain in the hand of the people who are really running the show in the backstage. If Trump goes beyond 0.5%, they will find a way to put him out. I mean, but I know a lot of people that really hate the unipolar world and uphold the multipolar world, and share a lot of my vision of the world and of the geopolitics. I see them depositing a lot of faith in the election of Trump, for example, to end the war in Ukraine. Like maybe the only positive aspect of hope that we might have for Trump is actually that. Of course, that's not a small thing. The war in Ukraine is the center. It's the center of the whole geopolitics at the moment, because it's not the ultimate goal, but it is one kind of goal that is it's currently the most important in the agenda of the West. And so it's not a minor thing. Trump is not just gonna get there and call Zelensky and say, you're not getting any more money or weapons, accept whatever deal Russia gives to you, and let's end this once and for all. This is not going to happen under Trump, and this is my guess. It's a guess, but it's my message to you people who believe that Trump will change something in this. The rest of the information you see around is madness. I mean, even Trump was taking as truth the endorsement of Kamala by Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin did not endorse anyone. He made a joke. And this joke was, I mean, if it's intentional, these people are sick, completely wackos. Because they really believe that their audience is stupid. If they go with a story like that. And I did say, Trump took it seriously. A lot of people took it serious. News anchors took it serious, left and right. Opening the news with Vladimir Putin has endorsed, in a statement, endorsed Kamala Harris. Same tone, same seriousness tone. It was a joke. So all of this is a joke. It's we are doing the West is doing very serious crimes and treating their public as idiots and morons and retards. Of course, America is the pinnacle of this. It's the champions of this kind of things, and we copy a lot of this, and we keep saying so. After we do all the shit, create all the chaos in the world, kill millions of people due to our policies, we still point the finger at China. Oh, China and the Uyghurs and oh, North Korea. They are in their country. What have they done? They invaded. They killed, assassinated. They go overthrowing governments, creating wars. No, they just sit there in their country. Cuba. Oh, cannot be. You see? But it's not hard to see. Okay. Been a lot of rambling. Like, I mean, maybe you are used to it by now. And I hope I see you on the next one. For the people who follow this but are Portuguese, I know, fortunately, some of my audience is Portuguese but understands English. But I do once in a while. It's not like every day it's not a certain time every week or something, a rigid schedule, because I work shifts. But we do a talk show that mainly focus on geopolitics and also national politics. And sometimes we even talk about our local politics, which was the reason for founding the channel. I ask you, subscribe to the channel, keep you updated. I think you will enjoy our conversations, our analysis. Our analysis is made without any lobbying. We don't even look for niches in the audience to, have more views and get YouTube revenue or everything like that. We do a very pure, naive. I say naive because we do not play, like we do not do it with any intention. We analyze, having in account our own values, which are mostly left-wing. And it's me and Professor Fernando Almeida. And we have a lot of fun doing it, I have to confess. And so I think you can too, and you can also contribute to this debate. Because why is this important? We need to increase our audience, not to become famous or anything, but we need to spread awareness. This is very important. Please subscribe. It costs nothing. It's only a click. It will take you no time. And we'll be pleased to work for you. See you on the next one again.